Hi guys, and welcome back to my corner of the internet and YouTubes. And the stack of books I have on this stool in front of me is very wobbly, so I'm kind of holding it in place. I do want to do a very quick disclaimer about one of these purchases. I have had to sell off a lot of my books, all of my special editions, all of my Fairy Loots. In fact, these are the only Fairy Loot editions I have left. All of my UK covers I had to sell. I was going through a tough time and I had to sell off about 400 of my books. So I'm slowly rebuilding my home library. And whenever I see some books that I sold off for much less than I sold them off for, I'm gonna pick them up. So there's my quick disclaimer. And that is where we are going to get started. This is a collective book haul from the months of February and what we've gone through in March so far. So the first couple weeks of March, and here we go. The first series I picked up, I reacquired the Poppy War in these editions. I hate the paperbacks. I hate the orange spine. I hate them. But these are beautiful editions. I'm so happy I found these. I found the whole series for under $20 and I snatched it up without thinking twice. I wasn't looking for them, but I saw them and I grabbed them. I missed having these on my shelves. I love this series. I love the real historical events with the fantastical elements. It made me look into the actual historical events that this is based on, and it is tragic, and it is not something we learn about in school in the States. So a little bit of a trauma ride here, a lot of trigger warnings for this series, but as far as fantasy series go, I do love it. I love the character archetypes in here. I love the drunken master teacher in here. I love this series. It's a great series. I can't wait to see it adapted for film. I don't know if the rights were purchased for TV or for a movie, but this has to be for a series. So we'll see if that ever comes around, but I'm so glad to have this back on my shelves. The other book I acquired is, I'm very caffeinated right now if you can't tell. The other book I acquired is A Day of Fallen Night. This is the prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree, which I read a few years ago. I think I gave it like a 3 stars. I wasn't obsessed with it, but I did enjoy it. It was a fun ride. It wasn't super heavy. I did appreciate the sapphic tones, but even if I hadn't read A Priory of the Orange Tree, this prequel, you don't have to have read one book. I'm sorry, I always slap books. No, I'm not, just slap it. You don't have to have read Priory of the Orange Tree to read A Day of Fallen Night. I'm probably gonna pick this up to read next month because one of the books I'm reading right now is very slow and it's taking a lot more of my attention than I thought it would. But I picked this up. I know there's a special edition somewhere. I think I didn't get the special edition. So here we go. A Day of Fallen Night is going to live happily on my shelf. I'm probably not going to repurchase A Priory of the Orange Tree. This might have been a hype buy. Like I saw so many people hyping this book up that I got it. We'll see if I regret adding a physical copy to my shelf because obviously I have limited space here. 2 books I acquired, and this was a hype train purchase. This book came out a year ago. It was at my job. I saw the book with sprayed edges. I was like, wow, they're being really cheap and just putting sprayed edges on everything now. Sprayed edges aren't special anymore. That's where my brain went. And then the early reviews I saw, the book was trashed. Everybody despised it except for people that I feel got their book early. So I was completely turned off to this book. And then Book Talk got me. And I just picked it up at work. I was like, let me just see what it's about. And before I was done with the first book, I had ordered the second book so I could start it right away. I got Fourth Wing. After reading so many heavy modern classics last month and heavy fantasy, like this is dark, but it's also fun. So I picked up both books in the series that are out right now, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. It's fun. Okay, it's fun. I love the dragons. I love the personality of the dragons. So Fourth Wing, if somehow you don't know, if somehow you're in the bookish community online and you don't know what Fourth Wing is about, it is in a school setting, which I typically hate, but it's once again not focused on the school. So students are brought into a dragon riders school. This is very political. Well, not very political. This isn't Game of Thrones level political, but they're brought into a school a huge percentage of the students die off before they're allowed to see if they will be able to bond with a dragon and become a dragon rider. And our main character does in fact succeed in becoming a dragon rider, even though I don't know what her disease is based on, but she does have an illness. It makes her very weak. Rebecca Yarros, I believe, has the same illness. I think it has to do with muscle strength and filaments, but I'm not sure. But people are always, or she's always doubting herself, and she does eventually conquer the odds and become a dragon rider. The romance is not romance heavy. It is slow building, but when it builds up, it builds up. So I love the romance in here. It's not too in your face, even though this is romantasy. I actually haven't started Iron Flame, but I have seen a lot of spoilers for it, but I'm still looking forward to it. So Still Dark is not like a sunshine and unicorns and rainbows a series. It's still very dark, but after reading some very heavy, depressing books earlier this year, this was a nice vacation. So I did enjoy this. I am glad I picked it up. I'm kind of sad that I missed out on the opportunity to get the Sprayed Edges editions, because my job had those sitting on the shelf for almost a full year and nobody wanted it. And then one day they're $200 to buy the Sprayed Edges version, but this is fine. I'm happy with it. Another book I repurchased, I kind of repurchased this book. I had the Book of the Month edition of this, and I sold it not because I needed the monies for that one. I sold it because I intended to buy another edition, because I did love this book. I'm trying to get the dust jacket off. Because I did love this book, I just didn't love the Book of the Month edition. And I saw the UK edition and I was like, that's what I want. I'm gonna get it. And then stuff hit the fan and I just couldn't acquire the edition I wanted. But here she is, Madeline Miller's Circe. Oh my God, can we just, isn't this so much better than the American edition? Look at this. Like, the edition I did get this shortlist sticker on the cover, which I'm not super thrilled about, but the actual book itself, oh my God. I'm so happy I picked up this edition. I love Circe. It was one of my favorite books of 2020, I think. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I did not like the Song of Achilles nearly as much, but the retelling of Circe's story, I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. I should reread it soon. I really did enjoy this book. It's another book that's very heavy. I did cry, but and I didn't really know that much about Circe to begin with. Just what I, like, recollections from the Odyssey. And actually, when I finished reading Circe, I reread the Odyssey, that took about 2 months to read, but I did really enjoy this book, and I'm glad to have it back home with me. Now, this is the book. You already saw what it was. This is the book I'm reading now, and it is slowing down my reading progress for the month. I should have read like 8 books already, and I think I've read 4, but I'm reading The Master and Margarita right now by Mikhail Bulgakov. I tried. I really did try. And I know more about the history of the actual novel than I knew about the story itself going into this. This is a fantastical satire set in Soviet Russia, where the devil comes to Russia. And I knew more about the history of the book. I knew more about Mikhail Bulgakov burning the manuscript because he was writing this story in Soviet Russia in an atheistic society, and then he rewrote it later and it got released like 30 years after he wrote it. But there's a lot of drama behind the creation of this book, and it is very heavy, even though it's funny and light, but it's very heavy, especially if you know the backstory and especially if you know more about Russian history. So I'm appreciating it. I don't know if I'm really enjoying it because it is very slow, and I am on I've been reading this for over a week already, and I'm on chapter 14. I'm only here in the book. Yeah, come at me. I'm using this as a bookmark. I'm on chapter 14, and it's just now picking up, but I've already I haven't lost interest, but I've kind of started focusing more on other things I'm reading more. Like, if I have 2 books in front of me, I pick the other book always. And that's why this is just taking me a long time. I'm also having to pick up reference tools for a lot of it. I'm having to look and see what this is and look and see who that is, and just I'm learning history as I go. So this is a slow read for me. I am enjoying it. I do want to read modern classics or a nonfiction every month this year. So this is what I picked. And maybe I should have picked something a little less dense, because this is making me feel kind of stupid. This is making me feel kind of stupid, but I am enjoying it. This is another book I picked up. It requires all of my attention, and I'm trying to read so many books and trying to knock out so many of my reading goals that it's not getting the attention it deserves, and I think that has a lot to do with it too. But it is amazing. I am looking forward to seeing where it goes. So it is heavy. She's heavy mentally. She's mentally heavy. This was recommended by my favorite booktuber, and that is Books with Brittany. She will never see this video, and that's fine. But this is, I believe this is a self-published book. I'm not really sure what it's even about, but it came so highly recommended from her. And we have such similar tastes that when she recommended When the Moon Hatched by Sarah Parker, I grabbed it immediately. I added it right to my cart. And it took a while to get here, I guess, because Amazon like threw it off the presses after I ordered it. But it is a beautiful book. Let me show you guys the map. Ooh, I am shaking from all the caffeine I took in this morning. So here is the map. Can you see it? Can you see it? She is a beautiful book. Hold on one second. Oh yeah. Someone's misbehaving. So hi, this is Revan. So this is, she said that this is for fans of Sarah J. Maas, and obviously I am a big fan of the Maasverse. So as a valued elding blade of the rebellion group Fjord the Ath, Rave's job is to kill, to complete orders, and never get caught. When a renowned bounty hunter is employed by the crown to capture a member of the Ath, Rave's world is turned upside down. Blood spills, heart breaks, and Rave finds herself at the mercy of the Guild of Nobles, a group of dual-beaded elementals who intend to turn her into a political statement. So, what are you doing? So this sounds like it's going to be like a bounty hunter who's turned into a tool with a little bit of romantasy elements. And I do love my cat as being chaotic. I do love romantasy. I do love assassin bounty hunter stories. So we'll see where this goes. I want to learn more about the dragons, because look, I'm going to pick this up today. I was trying to start to read it this morning with breakfast, but there was too much going on in my house, so I couldn't start it this morning. Oh yeah. So I couldn't start it this morning, but I am looking forward to it, and I might do a reading vlog on this just so we can see how I react to everything. Everything right now is for fans of Sarah J. Maas, which very hit or miss, and most of them have been misses for me, but this one I think will hit the nail on the head. Speaking of Sarah J. Maas, cats. Speaking of Sarah J. Maas, the last book I picked up this month, the last book I picked up, I was not going to pick this up. I was not going to pick this up, and I'll tell you why. Because I have books 1 and 2 in these editions. And I already know, like I feel it in my bones, that I'm going to regret picking up this physical copy, because I know there's going to be a special edition that comes out that I'm going to want. He's never going to stop playing with what he's playing with back there. So, I guess he's going to stop now. But I did pick up House of Flame and Shadow. I have read it already. I read this in 2 days because I have a problem. I reread both of the other Crescent City books at the beginning of this month, and then I jumped straight into here. So, Crescent City is actually my least favorite book in the Maasverse. My least favorite series in the Maasverse, because I'm not a fan of urban fantasy. But if you've read the second book, you know where this is going. Cat. I don't even know. You know where this is going. So I was excited to get this, just not the physical copy, because I really did want to wait for a special edition, but I couldn't hold off anymore. I didn't want to just listen to this in audiobook form. So here we go. This is on my shelf now. If I do get a physical copy of the special edition I will be getting rid of this because I don't need, it's mine now. Because I don't need 4 editions of this book. The other series, yes, I do need 4 editions, but this series, no. If it does come out with a Fairy Loot edition, I will be grabbing that up. And my cat is a creature of chaos, so I'm going to go pick up the spoon he found and has been chasing around the room. And that is everything. That is my book haul, where I'll see how many of these I get through and how I feel about them. I'm not just acquiring books to add to my shelves, I'm reading them as I go, so you're not going to see 73 book hauls on this channel anytime within the next 2 years. So here we are. Thank you for hanging out with me and at least one of my cats. The other one's taking a nap. But I will see you guys next time. Probably gonna do a reading vlog, and I will get to reading When the Moon Hatched and let you know how it goes. Alrighty then. Bye.